everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fourtress of, a podcast about movies and TV shows and video games and lots of pop culture nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today, and with me, per usual, are two of your other hosts, Brian and Devin. Hello, fellas.
Hello.
Yo, yo, yo.
It is I.
How we all doing today?
I exist.
Devin is rocking a spectacular mustache now that I have many feelings about.
He is on some sort of list. I'm not sure which, but he is on one.
He can't visit parks right now, but that's okay.
I mean, listen, all the guys love it. You know, all the girls hate it. My girlfriend absolutely hates it. She made me sit down and watch the episode of New Girl where Schmidt has a mustache.
Yeah,
and they shave it off him in the end. So it's maybe heading that way, but you know, it's fun to wear for maybe like a week.
I'm telling you, I said it on Instagram, and I got a lot of mean DMs in regards to a lot of people were offended. But I feel like it's in every white man's journey to spend at least 1 week where they just like, I just gotta try it. I just gotta see what it. I gotta see what it looks like. The mustache.
Yeah,
it never works.
right.
But they always try.
I don't hate it, but it's like I know I can grow a beard, but it's just that I'm choosing not to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's showing that you know you can have facial hair, but you choose to have this weird look.
I mean, I told you, you look like Pornstache, and Pornstache is going to be Master Chief. So by transitive property, you are Master Chief. That's pretty cool.
It does seem like you're going through a phase, considering your birthday's coming around the corner. Happy early birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's like,
thank
are you all right? Are you going through a crisis?
Oh, you
Is something
decided that you're
happening?
now officially a father?
Yeah, that's kind of why I did it, because my dad has always had a mustache. So I figured, you know, hey, for my birthday, I'm saying goodbye to my 20s, you know, entering the 30s. So it's time to just become my father and get like Air Force Ones. Start wearing like white socks.
What the fuck kind of dad you
Does
got?
your dad wear Air Force
Your dad's
Ones?
rocking the Air Forces, the white
Or
shorts.
That's like
do I have that wrong? Wait, the New Balances. Is it Royal Monarchs? The New Balance
New Balances.
shoes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Those are not
Those
Air
ones,
Force
the
That's
New
what I
Ones.
say.
Balances.
I was like, your boy walking around in the swim swap. Oh shit.
But yeah, the New Balances, okay, and then white crew socks all the way up, not quite to your knee, but like halfway up your calf.
With some khaki
then-
shorts.
Yeah, or jean shorts, which you tuck in
Yep.
with like a work belt.
And you got to tuck your shirt in.
Yep, you
Even
gotta
though it's a
tuck your shirt
t-shirt.
in. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Why is that a thing
Oh.
too? That's another white man thing. Is I feel like white men hit a certain age and they just decide I am now 50. They'll only be
I don't know.
25, but they'll
I
be like
don't-
today
I-
I decided I'm 50.
Is the tucking the shirt in thing like so your pants don't fall down type thing? I still don't understand it.
I don't.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. Listeners, let us know. All right. Well, yeah. Happy early birthday, Devin.
Yay.
You old fuck. With that, shall we move on to our first segment of the week, which we like to call
News Talk.
All right. First story of the week. It's about the Batgirl movie, the DC Batgirl movie that we talked about in the past a bit. Two things about it. They revealed her costume. Leslie Grace, who is playing Batgirl, she revealed it on Instagram or Twitter. I can't remember.
On Instagram.
Let's talk about that real quick. It looks fine.
It looks like the comic book.
Yes, it does, but it looks kind of cheap to
It
me.
looks
I'm
cheap.
not gonna lie.
I don't think it looks very good because I think
It looks like a motorcycle jacket.
Yeah, it looks like what I would see if I went to Comic-Con, like a decent Comic-Con, not like the shitty one down the street and someone dressed up as Batgirl. Like that's what
It
I
looks
see.
like
Yeah.
Batman and Robin costumes.
Yeah,
The old movie, like the 2000 movie.
Yeah. Like all leather.
Not as bad, but I don't know. I think I just don't. Yeah, I don't know.
and it's
Something
just-
about it.
Yeah, and then making it like the colors are kind of like, even though it's a navy blue, with like a yellow cape and stuff, like trying to put it around that backdrop of like, oh, it's so dark and creepy, and then that looks like a fucking maybe it'd work in a Marvel situation where it's so bright and flowery and stuff, but like
Right.
shit
I
gets
am
dark.
hoping that maybe it is just like it'll look better in motion type of
Yeah.
situation.
Or maybe
hopefully.
they'll color correct enough so that it'll look.
Yeah, because
less.
I think like her hair and the cowl, everything looks great. It's literally just like the weird motorcycle looking jacket of vest thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All purple leather.
It looks like what would happen if I tried to be like a superhero,
Right.
Like,
So, and maybe it's like her Mark 1 outfit or something. I don't know. It's
Fair.
probably not, but
oof.
She literally looks like she'd fit in any of the early 2000s superhero movies. Like
Yeah.
that first X-Men, like put her right in there with them. She'll fit right in.
yeah. Hey Brian, you want to lead in the second part of that Batgirl thing while I plug in my computer?
Oh, gee. And of course, the second part about this story is that Leslie Grace is actually going to be what's considered, I guess, let me see, the first transgender character in the DC universe, or DC, I guess, extended universe.
Well, hold on. Sorry, not to correct you. She's not, but they casted another character
Oh,
in it who is the transgender character.
oh, my bad. Oh, Ivory Aquino.
Yeah. She is a character who I don't know. Her name is Alicia Yeo. She's going to be the first transgender in the DCEU universe. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I think because both the actor and the character are both transgender. So that's a pretty awesome step. I'm really hoping this movie's good so that there's more of that will happen in the future as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Apparently, she's her bartender and also her best friend and a roommate.
Bartender. Wait. So what happened first? I'm assuming bartender first, and then maybe they moved in together and they became best friends. Because like, oh yeah, she's my bartender. Oh, she's also my roommate, my best friend. It's like,
Right.
what's up?
So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Just more representation is always good.
We love to see it.
I'm really hoping this movie's good. We also already know that, like we talked about it, Michael Keaton's Batman is going to be in this at some point. Also, I still don't think it's confirmed, but it's pretty like more heavily rumored that Brendan Fraser is going to be the villain, which I'm just happy to see him back in the world.
That's something.
If they make it campy, that would be awesome. If they try to take it seriously, it's going to be.
I don't know what they should do.
Not that he couldn't do it, but
I don't know.
like,
It's Batman. Batman's always just serious, except for those old movies. Some of them.
could be great. Could be a complete disaster.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Cautiously optimistic.
Hit or miss.
DC's like what 30% on how good their movies are, and I'm thinking mainly of just Wonder Woman. So
that's not even a fabrication. Though. That's like completely right. It's definitely about 30%.
Like
hit rate.
Definitely not over 40.
Yeah, maybe even less.
They're not bad in a high average here.
Yeah. Well, speaking of DC, whoo boy, Joss Whedon, he finally stepped into the light and responded to all of the criticisms and allegations against him, specifically during the filming of Justice League, and he had some choice words to say about some things.
Gaslit. He's casting that shit like fireballs. Hey, what about this, Joss Whedon? Gaslight. What about this? Gaslight. Pew pew. Real super villain. No. This man is.
I mean, yeah.
You just didn't understand what I was saying.
Yeah. I mean, he did this interview with New York Magazine, and basically he said he thought he could help when they asked him to do Justice League. He thought he could fix it and help, and he thought he could help. And apparently it's one of the biggest regrets of his life, which it's probably, I feel like there's worse things that you should regret. If speculation, obviously, but yes.
If you're looking introspectively, there's probably some other stuff you could probably regret in your life. You probably should.
Yeah. He also said the cast was the rudest cast he ever worked with, which we'll never know. We'll never know the actual truth. We were not there, obviously. But it sounds like that they just didn't blend because Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon have two very different stylistic directors. But also, don't be a dick to people. Like,
I mean, I will say that there's, like, once again, this is all speculation, whatever. For legal reasons, I can't say this actually happened. But there is something to take away when the two people that have the biggest, loudest voices about you doing wrong things are the two marginalized groups, a woman and a black dude.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're not wrong.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I did like his response about what Gal Gadot had said was that English isn't her first language, and he likes to speak in a annoying, flowery vocabulary. And it's just like, that is the dumbest thing you could have said as a response.
Yeah, he was like, what was it? Like, it's an expression that he says it like an expression to her, and she's like, no, I know exactly what that expression means. Like,
right.
Like, she even took the time out of her day to counter what he said after someone told her what he said. It's like, that's how you know that she did not misinterpret it. Like,
right. And it's just like, dude, he's just like saying all the wrong things all the time. And it's just like, he just sounds like, I don't know, like he's trying to like cover his ass, but he's also like doubling down on being a total dick apparently in his responses.
It's deflection mixed with this is just who I am.
Right.
And that's not okay. Because if that's just you're too old to still be saying that this is just who you are. If you can't learn from things, basically when it comes to communication with other humans, that's a character flaw that you need to be working on. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Even if all of this was a misunderstanding, if people are misunderstanding you, that's something that you need to be addressing as you are a director. communication's a big portion of your job. Like,
Right.
the fuck?
If you're walking around and everybody's misinterpreting and like being offended by what you're saying, it's like maybe you should work on. Maybe don't try to be funny. Maybe just get the job done.
Right. The other big thing was his confrontations with cyborg actor Ray Fisher was mostly about how they downsized his role in the movie, which they did 1,000,000%. And Whedon quote was saying like, "It feels like I'm taking notes right now." When he speaking like taking notes from Ray Fisher, and he said, "And I don't like taking notes from anybody, not even Robert Downey Jr." And it's like, it just seems like okay, he's just the type of director that there's no collaboration. It seems it's like everything he says and writes on the page is gold and do not sway from this whatsoever. Like this is it. And I get some people are like that, but it's just like, ew.
The more that I've learned about Joss Whedon, the more impressed I am that the first Avengers was so good. Like,
I mean, that's the thing. Like his whole career was built on he knew how to make ensemble pieces work. And like credit to him, like he does, like, but it's like it goes back to the whole debate of like, can you separate the art from the artist? And it's like sometimes yes, sometimes no. I just think you're kind of still a piece of shit.
Even for me, I don't know, because I do think that like I know I don't want to understate his place in making these movies, but I also don't want to overstate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the cast that he's working with, the other people around him, things like it's all a collaboration. It's a movie. There's hundreds of jobs on these sets. So to credit everything just to him also feels kind of shitty, because it's like
right.
He might have been the one that this movie may have been great in spite of him in a lot of ways, the same way that could be good because of him. So
I mean, yeah, it's like we got Infinity War and Endgame, and those movies survived, and he wasn't involved in them at all. So it's like, yeah,
in
absolutely.
some ways better as well.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, we can say that it wasn't exactly like his what do you say, credit that the first one was so good, but we can blame Age of Ultron. I'm just going to put that all at the feet of Joss Whedon.
I still don't think that movie's that bad, but
that
that's
movie
a different
boring
story.
as hell. Ultron is lame.
Yeah, so I don't know how much we can more to say. Like he's dug his own ditch.
Dude seems like kind of a dick. The end.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he'll get more movies and stuff in the future, because Hollywood seems to reward these kind of people. So
yeah,
yeah,
correct.
It's true.
Thanks, capitalism.
Yeah. All right. Next news story. All right. What's The Rock? He's going to make another video game movie, but we don't know what it is. It's apparently going to get announced this year. What do we think it could be?
So remember, he did say that it was a game that he's played for years.
It's very true.
I don't know much about The Rock and what kind of video games he plays, but I do know that he is one of the many actors that have dabbled for quite some time in World of Warcraft.
Do you think we're going to take a pun at that again?
I think we're going to go for a World of Warcraft 2, boys.
No
what would
way.
The Rock play in that?
Would he be? Yeah,
would he be whoever Henry Cavill wants to play. This is a big fuck you to Henry Cavill, who also very much would like to play a character in World of Warcraft.
Oh, that's fine.
They got to get them both in there if they both play WoW. Just get all.
I'm honestly surprised. I was thinking about this the other day. Actually, I was like, because like the Vin Diesel's been trying to get The Rock to be in the Fast 10 or whatever. I was like, I'm surprised they haven't like asked Henry Cavill to be in that shit yet. He seems like he'd fit in there pretty well.
Yeah.
Well,
they'll probably do it next time.
What game? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know his life. What could he play? Could it be like my first thought was Call of Duty, just because like that's a year-round thing. At first, I was like, he could be in a Gears, but it's like I don't see The Rock playing a Gears all the time. But I could see him playing a Call of Duty potentially. Just like a generic, which would just be a generic
that would be
action
such a bad
movie.
fucking movie. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But you said, think about what you just said though, Oscar. Generic action movie.
I know.
Generic action movie? No, never. That never could be a combo.
I mean, we got Rampage, and that came out of left field. I was never expecting that movie to ever be made. What the fuck?
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Because it's not in my head. It's not going to be like an old school game, because I doubt The Rock's playing an old school game for years. Like to this day, he's still playing Pac-Man or something. I don't know.
I take my my answer back. I want to do a different one.
Okay,
because we're in a world right now where we've had a lot of animated things have a resurgence, like Sonic and Detective Pikachu, Pokemon, stuff like that. I think left field prediction 2022 is going to be Crash Bandicoot. And Rock is going to play Crash Bandicoot.
Is he Crash?
He's going to play Crash.
Oh, no, my God. He's Crash, and Kevin Hart is the floating hoop with the gut guy.
Yep. I love it. I love it. That sounds actually perfect.
It's just Jumanji again.
Oh, my God. That would be funny.
Oh God, that's so good. Oh no.
Yeah.
Damn, actually, Peter Dinklage would probably be a pretty good Neo Cortex though. He has that voice going on.
He does. That's not bad. That's
Hmm.
actually not bad.
God, why don't I get paid for this, bro?
It's true. It's true. But speaking of Peter Dinklage, he's had some choice words with when it comes to Disney announcing they're remaking a live action version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Um, and granted, none of us are really qualified to talk about this, but we're just going to talk about what he said. Also, because Disney kind of came out and like, look at us, we casted a Latina actress as Snow White. It's the same woman that played Maria in the recent West Side Story remake. So it's like, yay, cool. You casted this. And then Peter Dinklage, he was on a podcast, the Mark Maron's WTF podcast. His quote was, I was a little taken aback when they were very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White. You're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's probably got a point.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
like,
absolutely. We can take any marginalized group and kind of fit it in there, and it'll have a similar kind of case where it's like no one wants to end up being typecasted as shit, and it's especially when it's such a terrible stereotype about like being an elf or being a dwarf or all these other things where
Right.
it's like, why can't I just be a normal person without having? It's kind of the same.
why
issue.
can't I be Snow White?
I mean, yeah, I mean, even things like that are definitely very valid. Where it's like,
Yeah.
the same reason, why does every person of color in a movie have to have this crazy struggle? If they're black, they have to be poor. If they're
Right.
Latino, they have to be, fucking their parents can't get abroad. Like other shit like that, where it's like, why do I always have to be this character when obviously I have the chops to be so much more? And you
Exactly.
just put me down as he has to be the broken one of every movie that he's
Yeah.
in, or every TV show that he's in. Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like,
No, yeah. My biggest thing is that movie sucks.
when you make it, it's going to be a bad movie anyway. So it's like, why even waste the time? I mean, this what is this, from the 30s when this was written?
Yeah,
Like,
I think so. Yeah.
who cares anymore?
Also, we've seen like I feel like 4 Snow White remakes in the past decade. I'm like, I am so fucking sick
Writing
of
has
Snow White,
evolved since
dude.
then. Like, I don't even think it's a thing. Even for nostalgia reasons, I don't think it's a thing that people really want to watch anymore. Anyone that's into that is dead already. Like,
Yeah.
if that's your favorite Disney movie, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Right.
If they did it if they did it the way that like Lord of the Rings did dwarves, where they just did regular sized people and then they shrink
Right.
them a little bit for like the story, I feel like that's better, right? Because I feel like little people have been the most maybe overlooked in movies and stuff. They've always kind of been typecasted and stuff like that. And like the fact that Peter Dinklage is speaking out about this now is kind of like, yeah, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think the biggest thing is, and I mean, we talked about, I can't talk but so much of a place from this, not being a little person myself, but it's just how you're portrayed on film. It's like, if I'm being shown as an ass of every joke, like Bad Santa 2, in which Peter Dinklage was he not?
God.
Like,
Right.
Or like he was in Elf too, and
Right.
and
Right.
his whole character was about that.
And that's the thing that really sucks, where it's like the dwarves are very high regarded people of Lord of the Rings. I've never watched it, but I understand like fantasy tropes and things like that, or they're not being like, oh yeah, we got these people. Oh, and the dwarves, they fucking suck. You know what? Like, what the fuck?
I mean, for Christ's sake, the dwarves are main characters of The Hobbit. You
Right.
know, some would say more than Bilbo was the main character of those movies. So it's like,
So that's the thing. I don't think they want them to, like, even if you, I mean, I'm sure you probably also want to be in things where they ignore the fact that you're a little person, but then also be in places where you rise up the fact. Like, make me a character of importance. Make me something real. Don't make me have to have that broken story that I always have to have because of who I am as a person.
it's just
Like,
an outdated thing because
Yeah.
it's a movie. Again, was made fucking nearly 100 years ago.
Exactly. Right.
And
Right.
so, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they will do something different. Who knows? They already said Gal Gadot is going to be the evil queen. So look at
Whoa.
them. They're adding brown people to this story.
Interesting
Whatever.
choice.
But
It'd be fun to see her be a villain.
I like
It'd
it.
be fun.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. Actors should be able to do everything. Do it.
I agree. I wish The Rock would do that.
Fuck you, The Rock.
Yeah, he's so much better as a villain. But yeah,
He
I don't
is.
know. Like, I feel like I feel like there could be a right way to do it, but not if you just typecast.
Not have 7 dwarves in the title would be a good start.
Yeah,
that's
but just
fair.
I don't know, something. Maybe you somewhat with
'Cause they're
special
not like
effects.
ethnically dwarves. I'm pretty sure they're just short people in
Right.
that.
Yeah.
That
I gotta.
it's not
I
like
haven't
a
seen that
fantasy
movie.
world where
God.
it's like you have like gnomes and dwarves and other humanoid races like that. Is it? I don't think so. Everyone else
I
is.
don't-
I think everyone's human, quote unquote.
Well, I guess the witch,
Well, there's
the
like a
evil
witch,
queen,
yeah.
has magic, so maybe I don't know.
I feel like it's a fantasy world.
That
I mean, it could be a
movie is
fantasy
so
world.
thin. It's like 20 minutes long or whatever. So it's like I don't know.
I'm just saying that because like based on like Lord of the Rings, where like that's a race. Dwarves are a race. Whereas I don't know if they're considered a race. If there's only 7 of them, would you even consider them a race anyway? Like,
How
Right.
did they do the dwarves in the Kristen Stewart Snow White movie? Was that? I think they did like regular sized people and they just shrank them with special effects. I think.
Yeah.
is that better though?
I don't. Yeah, that's a good question too. I don't know if is that better or worse. Is that giving?
Right.
Is that taking jobs away from other actors that are more suited for it? Or I don't
Right.
know. That's a
hard one.
That's a whole different debate. That's interesting though.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you do, all right, so if you cast like 7 little people, then you just have to humanize everyone and not just make it slapstick and like, oh,
Yes.
haha, goofy little dwarf people, right? Like movies would usually have done in the past.
Right.
So you can do it. Like, I feel like you can do it in a right way if you, I don't know.
I think Peter Dinklage's idea is this just shouldn't exist, which I'm not against.
Just don't do the movie.
It's like you said, archaic story.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not even worth the backlash. Oh well.
Yeah. All right. With that is the end of the first segment of the show. We did it. We survived it. Shall we move on to our main topic of the week?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh, hey, what's up, Alex? All right, let's go. All right, guys. It is that time of the week again. It's time for us to move on to our main topic. But we are trapped in another fortress this week. This time, it's a fortress that we've seen before.
Getting deja vu.
Yeah, I'm getting deja vu of a really bad fortress.
Yeah, we've been here before.
The worst
We've
deja
been here
vu.
before.
It was better the first time.
And
Trash deja vu.
it doesn't make any sense. Let's just go. Let's move because we're in the fortress of
The
Matrix.
Number 4, Resurrections. Keanu Reeves does his
the
best.
bad one. The worst one.
Yeah. Look, it's cool because this is a callback to our very first episodes of the podcast.
Yeah.
I just wish it was in better fashion.
I was about to say, hopefully it'll be our last like callback because I don't want to ever cover anything Matrix again if this is what they're going to do with it.
Oof.
So, yes, we're in the Fortress of the Matrix Resurrections. Let's get into it. No spoilers for now.
Don't sound so depressed, Oscar. It wasn't like that bad. Like
No, to be fair,
no one's life is ruined.
It was that bad.
It's been a couple of weeks since I saw it. And
No.
I feel like it's gotten worse for me because when I
yes.
first saw it, I was like, you know what? It's not great or even good, really, but there's a lot of interesting and good concepts in there that I wish were better.
Actually, so let's go around. What did everybody think?
Mercy.
Let's start with Alex. What was that? What did you feel about it?
I watched it really recently. I thought it definitely could have been so much better. I felt like the weakest part for me was the opening. It had some of the best action in the beginning, but it, like story-wise, it like didn't make any fucking sense, and I'm still struggling to grasp the greater picture of the movie, particularly the first like 30 minutes, all the exposition they set up, and then just like put a giant question mark on, like, oh yeah, we'll circle back to this later, and then they never really do exactly, or they do, but it just makes it more confusing. Honestly, I wish that they marketed the movie to let you know that it was going to be a comedy, and then maybe I would have enjoyed it a little bit more.
It is funny. Maybe sometimes
it's a
not on
satire
purpose.
on the Matrix. It's a satire of its own thing.
Right.
Is it the?
It's like it takes itself super seriously, and then it doesn't, and then it kind of does again. It
We're
doesn't
gonna get
really
into
know where it wants to sit. And I
There's
think that
one
kind of
scene,
struggles.
especially towards the end, that makes me feel exactly like you think. It was like, is this a satire? Is this supposed to? Because it's like a very serious moment, and they do this one thing, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, just what the fuck?
Yeah.
For me, it was like the middle, which was actually my favorite part, where I think it becomes like a comedy. They're just kind of making fun of Matrix fans and the Matrix series in general, without spoilers, in a satire kind of a way, I think. And
Very meta.
and then it gets super serious again. So it just kind of really threw me around.
It's almost like they just threw a bunch of concepts at the wall and just rolled with them.
Yeah,
and didn't
just
decide,
rolled around.
Didn't decide what to do.
And then didn't edit. I feel not as positively as even Alex does, even though I don't feel like he was that positive about it. So I asked myself a question when it comes to making a sequel in anything. And me and Oscar, I know you and I, we've talked about that pretty like at length when it comes to my thing when you want to add new story is it a story worth telling?
Yes.
The Last of Us, I said the same thing about The Last of Us. I was like, if you're making another one of The Last of Us video games, is it a story worth telling? They proved me wrong, and they had something to say. It wasn't great, it wasn't amazing, but it was something to say. This movie didn't say shit
What did it
about
say?
anything. It
Here's
said
some
nothing about nothing.
action sequences and some funny
Not
jokes.
even cool.
I wouldn't
Not
even
even
say
cool.
cool.
I wouldn't
I
say
would not
cool.
even say that.
Here's some decent explosions.
Number 2 is I can accept a bad movie. Matrix 2 and 3 aren't great. And that's okay, because they're fun. What I can't stand is a boring movie.
Ooh,
This movie is
right.
also fucking boring. And it's over 2 hours of just fucking boring.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like this movie. And this is from someone that came from a place that didn't expect to like this movie.
Did you like anything about it, or is it just all like 0 out of 10?
I like Keanu Reeves doing his best. Also, I think Carrie-Ann Moss definitely she worked really, really well and served.
I think she's the highlight for me
I think I
personally.
agree with that as well. Who is it? The guy that played Yahya Abdul-Mateen. He's great.
See, he's the weakest to me personally.
I just enjoy him as a person. I think he's a cool
like
guy.
not in like a like he's bad. Like I think all of the actors are good in this. He's just the weakest based on who he's portraying, which we'll get into.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That to me, his whole character was the epitome of the whole like fourth movie. Like his just whole character and who he is just a giant question mark. And then like his delivery was very floaty. It was like just kind of dancing around lots of different ideas and never really landing anywhere.
I can't wait. Devin, go ahead.
You don't want me to stop. You don't want me to.
Okay, Devin, say one good thing about the movie first.
Nope. No.
Yeah.
No.
He refuses.
The line that sums this movie up perfectly is where
spoilers
walks out of a fucking stall in the bathroom and says to Neo, "Is this a tragedy or farce?" This movie is both. It's a farce and it's a fucking tragedy that they were so greedy that they wanted more money out of the Matrix franchise and they didn't do a good job of it. And you know what, guys? You know what was going through my head? You know, I was watching it as I was watching those like first 20 minutes and being confused, bewildered as hell, and just like, what are they doing right now? Like they're so meta on their own self. I was like, you know, this feels a lot like subverting expectations. It feels like they almost got so far up, like lost up their own asshole that they were like, I can tell such a crazy complex story. Where have I seen that before? It's like, The Last Jedi.
No.
It reminded me of The Last Jedi. So
No!
I was sitting there like, you guys literally ruined like this franchise. Like the first 20 minutes was like, what the fuck is going on? Big Ryan Johnson energy.
Interesting.
Oh my God.
I guess I can kind of see what you mean.
Even the old movies, right? Even 2 and 3, which weren't like, you know, fantastic movies because they got so convoluted. Even they had amazing action. Okay, even like when the story's in shambles, the freeway scene, the Smiths fight, like the third one had a crazy kung fu, like, you know, anime fight at the end. This movie had the most like white bread generic action ever. Like it's not even like I was like, hold on, I was like, okay, so the story sucks, whatever. But then the action was like CW show quality. Like it's like they get some extras in there that, you know, it's like, oh, should we like choreograph something and make it cool? Use some special effects? No.
Don't do CW that disservice. I'm pretty sure I've seen better stuff on the CW sometimes.
I do want to get further into that.
Probably
We should stop there and see what Oscar thinks, and then we should dig deep.
Yes.
Because I know
I
Devin's
agree.
ready to unleash.
It's a tragedy as a farce. I hate it.
Yeah, I would say like for me, the biggest letdown compared to the other Matrix movies, it's like if you're gonna be as bad of a story like 2 or 3, the action better make up for it. And this movie's action, like Devin just said, is just not interesting. It's like I maybe wrote down like maybe 1 or 2 things that was kind of cool, but it's in the trailer. And then other than that, I'm like, this is just such boring, generic stuff that I'm just like, I'm not pulled to this part of the movie. So the story part of it is like, also I'm like, what? my biggest overall statement, which we'll get into more, is at times this movie feels like a fan film. It felt like a weird YouTube fan film at times, where I'm like, where it's just like, what is happening? And we'll get into it.
I mean, honestly, I don't think that's an incorrect statement. It probably is a fan film.
No, it's true. I just don't think it's a well done fan film.
To me, it feels like, Warner Brothers came to the director and was like, "Hey, we'd love you to make another, Matrix movie. Here's a giant paycheck." And they're like,
we'll get to Warner Brothers.
But it's like, I guess
she shits on them.
their hearts clearly was not in it. Like this just clearly spoke of like just the writing and everything was like, this is clearly a money grab. We clearly don't care about any of the characters. We don't care about the universe we created.
I wonder what if it was though, because I mean,
it absolutely was.
Let's get into spoilers now. So check the time codes. Spoilers start now. Warner Brothers is in this universe. And there is that really weird conversation with Jonathan Groff, Agent Smith, where he talks about Warner Brothers wants us to make one, and they're gonna make us do it with or without them. I'm like, is this like, are they like getting meta in this very conversation about like, are they shitting on Warner Brothers in their own movie that Warner Brothers made? I'm like, this is so weird, and it's just it does make you think like, is this what Warner Brothers was gonna do? And that's why there's that weird conspiracy going. Did Lana make this bad on purpose? I don't think so, but it's an interesting thought. But I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I guess that is pretty interesting. I thought it was a funny like bit, but maybe it is a direct pair. Like they snuck that line in as like, "Hey fans, they're making us do this, so we're doing our best. Like we didn't want to be here, but here we are."
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I'm reading here where during the pandemic, of course, filming had to shut down for this because it started in like late 2019 or like early 2020 or something like that. Then the instantly pandemic happened, and Lana was considering trashing it, but it was the cast that insisted that she finish it. And it was like, that's interesting. That the cast must have been. I mean, I'm sure Keanu was loving this shit. He just seems like the kind of guy that would walk into the fucking like casting area and just like a cup of coffee, just hype to do his damn job. Hey guys, what's going on? Like that kind of energy. But
I will say, I never thought Keanu Reeves would have aged until I saw him in the quote unquote real world as a bald man. I was like, holy shit. He finally aged a couple of years.
Which I was surprised by. I was like, do you think that's real? Do you think that him and Carrie-Anne Moss both shaved their heads?
I was wondering that.
Probably.
If they did it again.
Because like I'm looking at it, I'm like, it looks real as fuck. But I'm like, there's no way. Because Carrie-Anne Moss is bald for like 3 seconds in this movie.
Plus Keanu Reeves has had like long hair for like years now. So.
Right.
Yeah.
You would think he'd be pretty attached to having long hair and that he wouldn't want to cut it for this film. But, I mean. But
also it's long again. So I was like, I don't know. I was like, I wonder if he cut it again.
Is it long already? Who knows?
Yeah, we've seen them recently. They're long.
Maybe.
Yeah, we saw him at the Game Awards.
Maybe it was a cap. Maybe he's got a wig right now.
I'm thinking they're using Unreal Engine 5 for some of this shit.
Oh shit, that'd be kind of
cool.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about the whole Warner Brothers and all the weird meta shit, let's just get all of that crap out of the way with the whole the Game Awards. He's a game. So you're telling me, because my first gripe is, I would immediately know that this world is fake because there's no way a game looks that good in 1999. That is a bunch of bullshit. You're telling me a game looks like that?
I don't think they're in 1999 anymore.
Yeah,
the fashion is
day
different.
No, but The Matrix came out in 1999. There's a close-up of the Game Award on his desk that says 1999 on it.
That's what the first quote-unquote game was made.
Word.
And it looked like that.
Well, I will say the first Matrix video game, and was it Enter the Matrix that came alongside the second movie, or I don't know, where you play Naomi and Ghost, and they have live action scenes that were from the movie and shot outside of the movie. So maybe it's just like that kind of a thing, like they're using live action to help tell the story as well.
Just imagine the gameplay of that game in 1999.
I really want to play whatever game the Matrix is.
Yeah,
they said it was a mind fuck. Then the second one had guns.
So, but that like they justified as like that's how like because the machines couldn't erase Neo's memories, so they just made him think that it was like inspiration for a game, and that's how they kept him trapped. So it was like,
which that I kind of like that aspect.
Yeah,
so like, if you're trying to keep Neo in the Matrix, keep him as close to it and make him think he's crazy. Like I thought that was an interesting aspect of it. Yeah,
I just felt like there was more like from the trailer. I thought they were going to play more with like the reality kind of thing again of like questioning reality, and they basically just do it all in that like montage where he's just kind of going through his days, and they don't really like it. It was more into like like that pitch, like that montage where they're like pitching stuff for the game, and it
Ugh.
seems like it was like conversations they might have had about pitching the movie. Like,
Right.
you know, it seems like they were like trying to imitate real life there or something. So that whole
We had
like,
to do bullet time, but better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
like,
the whole
They're
thing. It was
like,
supposed to be
what
meta.
is the Matrix?
Yeah.
It's mind porn. It's blah. It's just mindless action. It's like, I see what you're doing. You're just not doing a good job of it.
That was
Yeah,
my
like-
thing. Is it was definitely trying to play the meta fourth wall break, make you go, "Ooh, that's so smart," but it wasn't very smart. It was like, "Oh,
Right.
the first one's about mind porn, and the second one, you get guns. We want more guns. The third one, we want to make it convoluted as fuck." And I'm like, "Okay, you're making fun of the movies that you made. That's funny. Why is this scene so long?"
But you're
Like-
also actively making a bad movie.
Right. At the
Right.
same time, like talking about how you want to make something different. You didn't make anything different. You did exactly what you said you're going to do. You made the same damn thing, and it was bad.
I wouldn't even say
Right.
they made the same thing. I think I mean they did in a sense.
But worse.
They made like they kind of made all three movies at the same time in this one
ugh.
in a weird way.
It seemed like I think one of the things one of the people at the game company was saying like, oh, we don't want to do like a hard reboot. We want to make like a new story. And then another person was like, well, maybe we do want to make a reboot because that's what sells. And that's kind of what
Yeah,
it seems
right.
like the movie was. They played with the like shot for shot exact carbon copy reboot of the first one, just like we've seen with Star Wars Episode 7.
Mhm.
They kind of did a new thing where it's a new story, brand new characters. They're kind of retelling, so it's kind of collaborating all ideas of a remake, a sequel, a reboot, all into one fourth movie. They should have just picked one
But
idea.
then also
Yeah.
like making
Yeah.
fun of it the whole time. Like that was the
Exactly.
weird thing. It's like, why not? The Matrix movies never took themselves lightly. So it was just weird to like have this almost comedic vibe to it at the beginning. Like I would have much rather had like a mystery where, you know, Neo is like trying to figure out how to, like, if, you know, like the same questions he was having at the beginning of the first Matrix, like questioning what's real and stuff, and kind of playing with that more instead of like, yep, this is a reboot. You guys know it's a reboot, and we're just gonna throw that right in your face.
Yeah, if they didn't mention all that, like the game stuff was cool, but maybe just not poking fun at how they need to make a new game. Maybe that would have been all it took to be a little bit
It
better.
just seems like two separate movies at times.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
Exactly. And I think it was just in poor faith the way that they put out the trailers and the way the trailers seemed to, like you said, focus so much on the aspect of what's reality and what's not. They focused a lot on those blue pills. Man saw those blue pills twice, and then we never saw them again. But the trailer was like 1.5 minutes worth of him struggling with his medicine and whether or not he should take it and stuff. That was a 30-second
I told you
bit.
guys that there's a reason why this movie won Best Movie where the trailer was better than the movie for me.
And like to double down on it, like the whole time, like when he's, I think in the game, like it's showing him clips of like his memories, right? Like from the video game. And then like that first scene where it opens up, like it's the Trinity scene, you know, iconic scene. And then like as he's questioning stuff and he's working with Morpheus and the other girl to get out, like there's like scenes from the first movie playing on a projector screen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're literally showing you the movie you wish you were watching now. Like they're showing you a better movie. You're sitting there the whole time, and like as the audience, it's reminding you, I wish that this movie was maybe even close to as good as that movie. Like it's just the fact that
Right.
they kept on like throwing the old movie in your face, like, hey, remember this awesome scene? Remember this? Remember how cool this was?
Mm.
It's like, yes, this is not that at all. Like,
Speaking of that,
Ugh.
it's the opening where it's just the Trinity scene, but slightly different. We get the intro of Smith Morpheus, which
Smithius.
already started to bring some questions in the fact that
mhm.
so they establish in this that he's in what they call a modal, which so is that just
What
like
is that?
it's a matrix within the matrix almost in a sense? Because they say it's like a program that Neo made to evolve programs, which is why he put Morpheus in there with Smith in a combo so that Morpheus would eventually evolve in there to eventually learn that he's Morpheus so that he could escape the mate. It's like
To up its own ass. Yeah, it's supposed to be like
What?
a training module almost. It's like
Right.
it's like when you send your Pokemon to the babysitter or whatever, and it levels them up. It's basically just that is what you're trying to do. And
Right.
it comes back as a Charmander. It's like a Charizard now, even though it was a Charmander when you send it there. That's all they
Right.
were doing.
But it's just like so all right, so and we also get the intro to Bugs, which Bugs Bunny. Okay, I get so was that their little thing of
Bugs. Oh,
okay,
Bugs
look, we literally
Bunny,
have the
funny.
Warner Brothers mascot
Oh wow.
coming into the movie and making Neo leave the Matrix. Is that another thing of Warner Brothers making us make this type of
That's
thing?
great.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
So we get, which I liked Jessica Henwick. I thought Bugs. I thought she was good.
She was
I
great.
liked her character, and I thought, yeah,
I liked her blue hair.
That feels very Matrix for sure.
yeah. I feel like she's the one that is the most Matrix because I don't give a shit about any of the other of her squad.
I couldn't even name them.
They don't have
Yeah, they're
cool
pretty
names or
forgettable.
cool looks anymore. They're all just so generically forgettable now.
All I remember is you have like Tank Jr., where he's like, I'm big black man and I'm Tank, but I'm not Tank. But okay, whatever. And what's Tank's
Yeah.
brother's name? Because Tank was the little one, wasn't he?
Tank was the one they don't talk about.
Yeah. Who was the other guy's name? He was
Dozer.
Yeah, he was
Dozer.
basically just Dozer's son,
Link.
grandson.
Link was the operator from the second and third.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so like that whole module and getting Morpheus out. I like the idea that he's a combo of Morpheus and Smith, but other than
But
that
what
opening
does that
scene,
mean?
he's just Morpheus.
It was big John Boyega energy in Star Wars, where it was like he almost defected from being like just a nameless stormtrooper, just a nameless Smith, even though he was the only black one, which was also hilarious. It was like, huh.
I thought that was great.
We've noticed these always been white dudes for the last 200 years that we've been doing this. What's this bald black dude doing here? What the fuck?
I just don't get why. Like, why couldn't he have just been a brand new character? Why do they have to make him Morpheus? Like, that doesn't. What does that? What does that do for the story and or the characters?
It makes
It
me
reboots
miss
it.
the old Morpheus more and hate this movie more. Alex, that's your answer.
We should have gone back to like our predictions when we first saw the trailer. I think part of my predictions were right that a younger Morpheus was going to be in there, and he was going to have to find a way to get a new Neo out of the Matrix in order to save future Morpheus. Maybe they should have just done my story and left it at that.
I mean, I think yours sounds better. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Your story was just as out there as this one was.
I said
so.
something else about like a pregnant Trinity, which I was wrong
You
about.
said she was pregnant, and they were going to have an Agent Smith baby.
Yeah, that would have been cool too. I regret nothing.
I at least understand that a little bit better than I understand this
Right.
one.
Yeah, it would have been more sense. I mean, I really do think this was like a rebellion against Warner Brothers because it was just such like a blatant, like it just was so blatant that like their hearts weren't in it and like it was lazy.
This movie was not made in good faith. I agree with you 100%. I don't believe that it was made in
I
good
don't
faith.
know, man.
Because like you said, one of the things we talked about was that choreography was bad. It was really bad.
It's not. It might be good. It's just shot horribly as well.
Maybe
though.
that's maybe the issue is the way that it was shot.
I
but
think it was shot really well. I think the cinematography.
I don't think so.
I mean, I'm always looking for like lighting and cinematography and like interesting angles and stuff and colors. The colors were beautiful. They had a lot more colors than just green. I thought
thank God.
blue was like all over the movie, which I thought was pretty interesting. With the whole red pill, blue pill being stuck in the Matrix, that was pretty evident. But I think it was shot really beautifully. The frames were great. The lighting was great. I think the way they covered the action sequences were really nice. They were just the choreography wasn't like anything spectacular.
That's
Like
interesting.
when the opening scene when Bugs is kind of running from the agents and they're kind of going through different portals and stuff, and the point of
that was cool.
The camera's kind of canting every time they go through a new area. That was beautiful. And the tricks and the stunts that she was doing were pretty cool, like her little flips. But they were kind of bogus, but at least it looked cool.
I mean, but the Matrix has always been bogus.
I don't think anything else looked really good choreography-wise.
And that's what I think as well. I think what you saw there is probably what the beginning of filming when they were doing really, really well. And then I think they got super lazy with it. It's like that scene where they were fighting, where they bring all the other no-name white people that we've never seen before and barely know their names that kind of dress cool but still look like 40-year-old men. Those fight sequences suck. Like when they were fighting, what was the name of those people they were fighting that looked like savages?
Oh, the swans?
The exiles
The
with
exiles.
the Merovingian.
Yeah, the
that
Merovingian's
fucking
back.
dirty ass homeless Merovingian.
Oh my god!
Where the fuck did he get his robe from? He needs to retire that one.
He was making stupid quips too about things that happened in the other movies and all this meta shit that was pissing me off. That
He
I
was
just like,
saying like stuff like,
Yes.
I'm sick of like, we used to have art and now it's just video games and I'll spin off prequels, and he's spouting all of this nonsense.
wow.
It's like, what are you doing?
I didn't catch anything that he said. I don't know what the heck he said.
Oh yeah, you need
And
subtitles.
subtitles
That
for
fight
sure.
scene really drove home like that for me. That's when I realized I was like, the action in this movie sucks. Like that's like the
Yeah.
first scene that really drove that home was like, this is so generic. It sucks. Ugh.
It felt like high school players kind of stuff, where it's like when you like, the first baby's first choreography, where it's like, okay, throw a punch, now catch, okay, now flip me, okay, now we do this. Like it was very like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't fluid in the way that it felt. It felt very like rehearsed in a poor way. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it any better than that.
I wonder if it was because I had a sad feeling about this when I saw the trailer because I was always worried from the start about Neo's new force push that it was going to be boring and generic after that, and it was to me because Neo's fighting is bad because one, his fight with Agent Smith is shot too close at times. He does one cool move when he flips across along the wall twice, and that's in the trailer.
Yeah, that's
Other
cool.
than that, his fighting is bad. I don't know if that's because they were trying to do it practical, and Keanu Reeves is an old man now. And then he just resorts to the force push, and it's like it's boring to watch. It's not cool, and I do wonder if it's a thing that we've seen too much now since like the first Matrix trilogy. Like everything was new, like we hadn't seen that shit before, and now it's like we've seen so much content that it's like I don't know.
I disagree because I think because we can still go back and watch the first Matrix and you still enjoy those action sequences. That's why
100%.
we love that movie. Like this, I don't care to see any of those action sequences ever again. Like the original Matrix movies, you could go like, sometimes you watch that movie just to see the part where they jump at each other and they're firing the guns off and then, it's empty, they're both their heads. And then, he throat punches Agent Smith. Like that's what made the old Matrix great.
That's my favorite.
You really painted that scene, Devin.
I love that scene. Okay. I YouTube it all the time. But like, it's like that the stuff there was iconic and it like made it like dictated how other movies did their choreography for like, a decade. And like this was like they didn't even try. Like you see, they didn't even try to do something new.
Even the dojo scene between Neo and the fake ass Morpheus, that was like
just boring.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Devin when it comes to that. I think that this movie just forgot everything that it knew made it good in the previous. Like
exactly.
You always remember the time where, first of all, stop nerfing our favorite characters to make them fit in the story better. Like I get that you want to make it so he's not too strong because then it'll be too easy for him. If that's the problem, make a different story. Your story sucks. Because everyone wants to see the best version of your favorite character. We finally got to see Neo hit his max form, and then he died. And then we have this movie, and he's back to like, it's when you buy a fucking it's like new God of War, where you probably have to get all your stats all over again. It's that kind of shit. Where it's like,
this is basically a video game, the movie. Any video game, the movie.
Yeah.
And that's so fucking annoying to me, because it's just like all the cool things that he was able to do by the end of Matrix 3, and all the cool things he did not do in the Matrix 4. Like you said, it got him mounted down to a force push, and that's all he had. There was a time that we were seeing Neo fighting to do with one hand, and they were going in super speed, like an anime. Why is he now doing 3 punches every 3 minutes or so?
That's what I'm saying. I wonder if that has to do with Keanu Reeves just being old. In which case, I'm like, shoot it better with a stunt double, or like just shoot it.
We just watched William Dafoe pile drive Spider-Man through a fucking building. So you can't tell me that an old man is the reason that you can't do this.
Exactly.
He does all the choreography for John Wick, doesn't he? And those movies are only like a year or two old, and the choreography.
Yeah, but
there
he's not as kung fu-y in John Wick because it's a lot of gun fu-y in that one. So he's not kicking people and doing shit like they would in the Matrix.
But I feel like if you had a choreographer that cared,
I completely agree.
Then you could have done something cool. But it seems like they either didn't even have one, or the one they had was just like didn't care at all. Like
they dropped the ball.
Like, yeah, like the action
this was the movie
bad.
equivalent to Iron Fist in choreography.
Yes. Yeah, it made me feel that felt exactly the same way. Actually, it might be the same choreographer. We might find this out.
But like this movie could have been the exact same story, and if the action sequences redeemed it, then I'd be sitting here like, I mean, it's story wasn't great, but hey,
exactly
that Merovingian fight scene, holy crap, that was awesome. They were pushing the boundaries again, or it was like on par with the first Matrix. Not even close. Not even close. So like, it's just so disappointing.
One of my favorite bad moments was when they get out of some building or whatever towards the end of the movie, and these stupid zombie people are coming to get them.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, oh, Neo, like, you can't fly yet, can you? Like, can you fly us out of here? And he's like, hold my beer, bro. Hold my beer. And the camera pushes in, and it's your big moment, Neo. Come on, you can do this. And he flexes his hands up, and he bends the ground. And
it makes that sound. It goes, duh.
He's like, nah, I can't do it, guys. We gotta walk this one out.
That shit made me laugh though.
It was hilarious.
This scene made me go back 3 times, and then I almost turned off the movie after that. I was almost, even though I was so close to being at the end, I was almost like, this is too much for me. I
Yeah.
can't go any further.
It was
Yeah.
funny. I laughed out loud, but I was like, what's the point? Like, there's nothing cool that's gonna happen anymore.
The
No.
timing of
Yeah.
that scene was egregious. Like that was so
Yeah.
bad. It was
The
funny.
tone is weird.
But you're going and you're running through the serious moment and everything. He's like, oh, you better fly. And it's like, this could have been an amazing moment. This is the Gal Gadot being able to fly for the first time moment.
Mhm.
Dun, dun.
Right.
Nothing.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. If I were to watch it again, knowing that it should be just a comedy, then I probably would enjoy it a lot more.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's 100% fair.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other awful aspect of this movie that I didn't like is the zombie swarm. I get it. It's a video game trope now, but it's so
Ugh,
boring
so
to watch.
overdone. It's so lazy.
It's incredibly
So lazy.
boring to watch.
Kung Fu and
Ugh.
zombies. Actually, that sounds pretty cool, but it was not cool to see.
The Kung Fu wasn't good enough to let
like,
you
I
have
don't
zombies.
know.
And all he did the whole time was just do the force like push the entire time on the motorcycle ride.
Which sounds really cool. Why was that
People,
not
they're just
cooler?
running people over with the cars, and like you don't even know where they're trying to go.
He did drive by punch one
Like
person.
where are they even driving? It was so bad. And they're like, oh, let's do something nobody's ever seen before. Let's have them jump out of the buildings, and then they'll get on the road and they'll get run over. They'll land on the car and the motorcycle. We've all seen that before.
Yeah, they turn into like
the fuck outta
suicide
here.
bombs, but they make sure to know that those were all bots and they weren't actually people.
Yeah, they did say
just
that.
to make
So
sure, you know.
generic.
that was pretty cringy, though. I will like. Can we talk about that? Like
God.
I felt like that was
Yeah.
a little of a bad move for the creators. That like
Yes.
they couldn't do anything better. Like they're already
No,
they're
it's
like
just-
talking about suicide in the movie as like a theme line, which is something, but to
Right.
just like reinforce that through line with a little bit of garbage, that doesn't seem like the best idea to me.
Right.
No.
Yeah,
Right.
like the old Matrix movies were so creative. Like, the freeway scene, they had like those ghost brothers that could phase through, matter. They had the doors that were popping up everywhere. Like, come up with something new. Come up with a new
Right.
a new enemy that like uses the rules of the Matrix in kind of a fun way. Not just zombies, like computer zombies. What the fuck?
But Devin, they did come up with a new enemy. His name is Neil Patrick Harris. He's the Architect 2.0, aka the Analyst.
The Analyst.
Yeah.
It took me the whole movie to realize he was the new architect. I was like, who? What the?
Oh.
What is his role?
Oh
what is
my
his?
God.
What is his job?
Yeah, so he's his therapist. He wears a lot of blue. Get
Yeah,
it? Blue pill.
yeah.
Get it? It's funny. Like, he's not bad. It's just they literally do the Architect scene 2.0, and it's just as bad. It's just a bunch of nonsense, dumb shit where he's explaining his whole plan of like the whole point is to keep him and Neo or him and Trinity as close as possible, but
Mhm.
not actually touching close enough. That's the key. And he's like, it's all just so weird. And he's like, like it's funny. Hope and despair have the similar code and yada yada yada. It's just like you have all these ideas. But you're just saying them.
They
You're
were
not
fucking-
doing anything.
They
with
were
them, though.
crypto mining your boy for 60 years. The man's getting used like a graphics card right now. Jesus Christ.
Ugh. Like it was supposed to be so like, ooh, he's so powerful and bad when he like slowed down Neo, like, and like,
Right.
I mean, I don't know, like that effect felt lame too. Like it felt very like just very generic CGI, very generic effect of like, a villain having that kind of power.
There was no real tension there. Like, even though you kept seeing it, I wasn't like stressed about what he was doing there with that whole like, oh, I can kill Trinity whenever I want. You can't do anything about it because you're too slow. And it's like,
Mhm.
they were trying to make you feel that like, oh no, he's going to have to overcome this at some point. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to
Yeah.
overcome it ever.
Right.
It just
Never.
doesn't become a thing when it needs to be. And then, you know what happens at the end with Anderson. Not Anderson, with Agent Smith. Like, so what was the
Ugh.
point of doing that and making him feel helpless or something he needs to attain? Like, I need to get stronger again so I can save Trinity. No, that doesn't.
Mhm.
No, it never becomes a
Let me
thing.
tell you, Goku would have never let that shit happen.
I was hoping for like a Superman moment where he does it another time and then he's like, oh, I'm faster now, bitch. And he just fucking does the thing.
Right.
That would have been
Right.
cool.
Right.
She'd be like, oh shit, he's unlocking his power again.
That would
Nope.
have been really fucking cool.
Mm-mm.
They
Yeah.
dropped every ball that they fucking had.
They dropped
They had an
every
Easter egg
single ball.
basket and they just fucking, oh shit.
Oh shit! Oh sorry.
Kevin with the chili from The Office.
They
Yeah,
dropped every ball.
Can
they had.
we talk about new Pretty Boy Smith, the
Oh.
fucking King George from Hamilton? I was
Jonathan
waiting
Groff,
for him
yeah.
to bust out into song, man. That would have made my day.
It would have been better. It would have been better than what you did in the movie.
Look, I thought he was good what he was doing. I thought everyone was good. I thought he was good saying the lines. I thought
Yeah, I don't hate him.
probably
He's great.
because he's younger, the choreography seemed to come naturally to him in that fight. I thought he played well. I thought he had kind of the same diction as Hugo Weaving. Obviously, you want it to be Hugo Weaving, but I didn't have a problem with him.
I think he did his
as
best.
an
I just
actor.
have a problem with him. I mean, I don't have a problem with him, the actor. I think he did a great job. But just why make him Smith? Why not just make him
there's no
a new
need.
person?
There's no need.
That was a thing I wrote down on my notes. Is like, why did the machines keep Smith around? Like, why is he still in the Matrix?
The whole point of the original trilogy was that Agent Smith was too powerful for them, and that was the only.
I thought they got rid of him. I thought Neo did this thing.
Exactly.
He got vaporized.
The whole cycle of like them try and create a more perfect Matrix and killing Zion over and over and over again. The whole point is that like Neo's generation was different. Was that Smith was this X factor that the machines didn't know how to deal with him either, and that Neo was the only one that could beat him. And so for that reason, he has to be gone. But to just bring him back so lazily and like he's just chilling in the Matrix now for fun. This man assimilated every living being on the planet. Now it's Samurai. How is he just gonna walk around?
What are his motives even? Like, I don't know.
Well, okay, so like from what they say is his motives is it's the same thing. He wants to get out again.
But
It's the same
just
shit.
get out then, Smith. Just get.
And then-
just go.
So why isn't he just
walk.
assimilating
The
every
door's right
person?
Damn.
Why is he young? Why is he not Hugo Weaving?
What's that?
Why would you take an iconic character that was one of the most iconic villains of all time and recast
To
him?
play devil's advocate, I think, which is some of my biggest problems, replacing Smith, replacing Morpheus, and still calling them Smith and Morpheus. I think that those actors just didn't want to do the movie. They were like, "This is going to be a bad movie." I think that's what I'm choosing to believe. And they're like, "Well, we're not going to change the script at all, so we're just going to recast the characters."
Right.
I hate that they brought back Agent Smith at all. Like, if it's not Hugo Weaving, don't even do it.
Totally.
We'll talk
agree.
about Morpheus in a second because there is some maybe background lore that we have to take into consideration.
Okay,
but
I
with
would
Smith,
love some background.
Oh,
Background
yeah.
is great. I would
but
love
for
some of that.
Smith, I do wonder if it was like maybe a COVID casting thing, and Hugo Weaving was trapped in Australia or wherever, or wherever he's trapped in
No.
England. I don't know, but either way, Smith just randomly shows up at the end of this movie like a Deus Ex Machina. And is just like, oh yeah, I'm here and I can kick everyone's ass in slow-mo too. And then he just leaves?
Yes.
He's the reluctant hero for some reason, randomly. Like he's like the rival Shadow the Hedgehog ass character.
Yeah.
But they don't do anything to lead up to that. So you're just confused. Like it wasn't even like a Snape kind of situation from Harry Potter where it's like, oh, you think he's the bad guy this whole time throughout the movie and then he becomes a good guy. It's like, no, he barely even exists in the fucking movie. And then he shows up and it's like, pow, pow, pow. Got your back, brother. I'm out. What the fuck?
Also, he can change his forms like a normal agent as well, but I don't know. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
No.
I hate this movie.
But speaking of Morpheus, so he's dead. The real life Morpheus is dead. They have a
Morpheus is
statue
dead.
of him. Or is he? They don't actually say. They just say he's gone, and there's a statue. One, Neo, you'd think he would be like, what happened to him? But no, he doesn't care.
It's fine.
And two, so I guess maybe it's the Matrix Online canon is real canon, and Morpheus did in fact die.
Lazily.
I don't know.
Let's
know,
say
and
he's
it's-
dead. I'm assuming he is dead.
Yeah, which led us to a character which is fine. Niobe, Jada Pinkett's back. I like the fact that she had like moved on, like she never thought like Morpheus did. Like she says like how Morpheus was like he believed in Neo too much that he couldn't advance, and that's what was his problem was. I kind of like that idea because this is one of the things that I actually liked about the movie that advanced the story in a way was I like that they now work with some of the machines.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
I
was
like
pretty
that
cool.
improvement. I thought that was a cool thing. They have like these sentient machines that like help them, and they have this whole bio sky, and they can grow food that doesn't taste like piss
You know
and
where
shit
they got
anymore.
that from?
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect.
I was about to say.
It gave me the resolution that Mass Effect 3 never did.
They had the Paragon responses unlocked. So you could pick both Tally and Legion. But yeah, I mean, that was, if I can say one positive thing about this movie after going on a tirade the whole time, that was the only thing that I liked was, well, okay, two things. A, none of the crew members died, even though they were generic, but still it was nice to like have that flip from the first one. And B, that this city where the humans and machines are working together and hopefully working towards a better future where they, where we put aside our differences. That was it. That was the only positive out of this entire movie.
I did like the fact. Well, I kind of like it where like they talk about the reason that this war is still going is because the machines eventually started fighting each other for energy.
You know, I would love to see more of that. That was really cool.
And there's even that flashback of young Jada Pinkett like in that weird war. It's almost like a Terminator world. It looks like when she's out there scouting and she's watching the machines fight each other. I kind of want to see more of that than anything else.
Let's do the Animatrix on that one.
That's why I'm like, there's interesting concepts in here, but I think they just maybe they thought this was going to be a one and done, even though it's clearly set up for a sequel. Maybe they were like, there's no way we're getting a sequel, so let's just cram as much crap as we can into it while we can. I don't know. I really don't know.
I think it was all of the answers, all the possibilities. They were just like, yeah, just throw it in there. Put it in there too. Why not? Oh, you have an idea too? Someone in the back? Yep, we'll write that in there. Why not? Fuck it.
What'd you say, Jerry? You want the machines to help the humans? That's pretty good. All right, we'll do that too.
Let's film it. See what it looks like. Oh, we didn't edit that out. We didn't edit any of the film. So it's just 2 hours and 30 minutes of nothing.
Oh, you want Smith to come back and he'll be a good guy? Okay, sure. Fuck it.
Hugo Weaving.
Is it Hugo Weaving?
Hugo.
No,
we can't get him on the phone. I don't know what to do. He's not picking up our calls anymore. I don't
know. But speaking of recurring characters, we most of us kind of like had an idea that the Oracle died in this purge that they talk about, which that's interesting. But it seems like there's basically Oracle 2.0 in the little girl from the third Matrix. She is grown up, which made me question, so programs can grow?
Over 60 years, it's kind of like dogs. And in the time of 60 years, they grow about 20 years. Yeah.
Okay, this is another like fucking just whiff by this movie. Another drop ball, okay, of all of the drop balls. Is that they introduce her when Neo's like when he's questioning reality and stuff, and she's reading Alice in Wonderland, and she has the glasses, she looks super cool, she looks mysterious. This person has the answers, right? And they do nothing with her. And then she pops back up at the end, and she's like this angelic, like very NPC
she's got the
energy.
plan.
Like, oh, this is the plan.
That's
this is
almost good foreshadowing.
Almost.
I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad at all.
Because like they wait. It seems like she had such potential as a character, and they just fucking squandered it. And then she comes up in the end with no charisma, no like personality whatsoever. Just like that white knight, kind of like, yes, I will help you, and I'm here to, I'm the robot.
That's what I'm saying. She's like the Oracle,
and I'll get you in the back door. Like, bullshit, dude. Then you know what? If that's all she's gonna do in this movie, then don't fucking tease me when like she has the glasses and she's sitting there giving Neo some eyes. Like, I know what you're looking for, and like reading Alice in Wonderland. Like, why couldn't she get involved earlier in the movie to help him get out? I don't know. That was a major whiff for me because she just came in and like. And then that whole convoluted plan in the end was just like such like, what do you say? Just like regular ass shit.
I had to watch it again to make sense of it.
I didn't know what was going on there.
There's still one weird aspect that it doesn't fully make sense. And it's the whole Bugs has the same sort of brain activity as Trinity. They have to like, that's how they get her out by putting her consciousness and connecting it. And what?
I don't know.
They got the same brain?
It just bogged down to them having some like interlaced scenes of them both screaming together. And that was it. I was like, oh,
but that's it. There's nothing else to it. And it's just such a lazy idea because like everything else kind of makes sense where they say like, Morpheus can go in because he's a part machine. So he can like kind of dematerialize into these little beads and sneak into the pod vagina that gets Trinity out. But then they all get there by a ship and they have to hook Bugs up to get because they can't unplug Trinity before she wants to leave the Matrix or she'll die.
But she doesn't need the red pill. She doesn't need the red pill either.
You could just leave the Matrix whenever you want now. There's no point in those pills. It doesn't matter.
Here's what happened.
You just hop out a window and you're out of the Matrix.
Here's what happened. They saw Raiders of the Lost Ark and they're like, how can we fit this into the movie also? little swap-it-a-roo.
I hated it.
But it did lead to that whole plan. It led to probably my favorite moment in the whole movie. And I will admit, like, it actively made me start to get teary-eyed, and I got caught up in the emotion of it. It's that moment right before Neo and Trinity touch. And, like, it's all slow-mo, the music swelling. Neil Patrick Harris is like, no, don't let them touch. And it's like intercutting with old footage from the past movies.
Yeah.
I will admit that moment got me. And I'm like, do it, just touch. And, like, blow shit up, do something, please. Like, that was actually a good moment for me.
Yeah, mostly because we haven't seen anything cool happen yet.
Maybe that might be why.
But yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, I just please touch, blow something
Like,
up.
I like the idea that, like, there is this mystical magic that is love.
Love
Because
is
it's a
the
good callback
answer.
to the first movie where, because
That's
they
what
don't
it's
even
all
explain it in
about.
that first movie. When you think about it, when she kisses Neo and tells him "I loved you," it makes him come back to life. There's no explanation for that in that first
just
movie, and we all
love.
just took it as what it was. So I was okay with that concept being expanded here and be like,
Yeah.
it's the two of them. They're the one. There's not just
Yeah,
one.
that was cool.
And I love
There's
the idea
two.
that Trinity is the one that first flies, and she's way more connected to the Matrix. Because in theory, she should be. She's way more badass than Neo initially, and it's like, so I'm 100% in favor of that. And I thought that was actually really cool. And also because I knew it would make a lot of people real mad and think this movie's woke. Shut up. They're all woke. Shut up.
Yeah. I'm glad she got at least like one scorpion kick in.
My favorite parts of the movie were probably the idea of the love is more powerful than anything as a weapon, and as like kinetic energy powering this machine civilizations.
I do think it's an interesting thing.
And then the idea at the very end where there's two ones and they're both flying up and they grab hands in the very last frame. That was fucking cool as shit. But the rest of the movie was not very cool. So
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
cool where they just come to Neil Patrick Harris and they're like, he's like, "Oh, what do you want now?" And they're like, "We literally just came here to flex on you. Like, like you literally brought us back to life, and now, like, because we were both dead, and you brought us back to life and
Right.
gave us a second chance. So really, like, thanks, bro."
I don't understand their new power to snap time back. I don't understand. Is that just
Matrix.
because they're so the one?
Yes.
I don't know.
she's the two, so she can do whatever she wants.
She's the two.
She's the two. So like that was like, okay, I get it. And now they're gonna rewrite the world in whatever way they want sequel, but also they're not gonna make. I don't think. They're making
Oh
a
no!
sequel
I
to
mean,
this.
the movie bombed. So
Like, I like their out. I like how she came in so Neo looked with her outfit. I thought she looked dope, and then flying together was awesome. But I'm just like, I love how Neo just takes the backseat holding the cat, and he's just like,
"You got this, babe."
she's the boss, bro. She's gonna kick your jaw off. She's gonna slit your throat. She's gonna do whatever she wants with you.
you guys know what was not awesome? That fucking cover of the Rage Against the Machine song. What the fuck was that, dude?
You didn't like it?
I clipped the audio real bad right there. That shit sucked, dude. How
Oh, no.
awful. Well, I turned into a ska brass band. Jesus Christ.
I didn't
Oh,
notice. I
man.
was so ready to be done with the movie. I didn't really notice.
They replayed the final song for, what was that, the first movie when he flies away?
Yeah.
And it was Rage Against the
Yeah.
Machine, of course.
I will
iconic.
say
Okay.
that's another thing that this music is not memorable.
Nope.
And maybe it's because it's not the same composer.
They used 2 or 3 original songs, and those are the only songs that I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everything else, because that original soundtrack is like iconic.
Yeah.
Like you remember what it sounds like when you hear it. But now it's just like, it's just so generic now. And
At the end of the day, this movie is just generic. That's the issue with the movie. It's a generic movie. Any other action movie, but almost worse. I would have rather watched a Rock movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
oh, shut up.
It was more
Honestly.
entertaining.
Fast and Furious at least is funny.
That's
It knows
fair.
what it
That's
is.
fair.
That's the thing.
Hey, this was funny, if anything at all.
This movie just didn't know what it was doing or what it wanted to be. And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like they were putting a middle finger up to Warner Brothers for making them make this movie or something, because it was so
I don't know.
much like just randomness.
Yeah.
It's possible. I don't know. But like, I would like to think that just because it excuses this movie from being so bad. But at the same time, I would want to hope that those people are professional and try to actually make something,
Make something good. Especially if someone gives you $200 million to do so.
Right.
The only other explanation is like when they made the first movie, they're like, maybe fresher on the scene, maybe like this is your kind of chance to prove yourself and you do a really good job, you're really sharp, you're really focused. And I feel like this happened with like really big directors and people that get very successful in Hollywood. They just get surrounded. Like, I think for me, a good example is like Lord of the Rings, right? Like Peter Jackson did such a phenomenal job with the original trilogy. And then when he comes around to make The Hobbit, I feel like maybe they're surrounded with too many yes men or maybe too much, like not enough, like they're just not sharp enough, right?
Well,
Or
he didn't want to do it is the problem. So
humble
it
enough.
clearly was like, all right, fine, I'll do it. Like Guillermo del Toro was going to do that. So that's a clear indication that he didn't want to do it. Yeah.
So, I mean, same thing here, right? Like,
Yeah, maybe.
you caught lightning in a bottle once, and then the studios try to recapture the lightning and you just,
Yeah.
but like it was most of the time they can get like close. This wasn't even on the same stratosphere.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't
No.
know. That's why I think like it was bad on
I think it's
purpose.
an important distinction to make as well that one of the two Wachowskis didn't want to do this. And
Right.
she's noted saying that she didn't want to do this because she didn't feel a need to revisit this. She was like, it was a part of our career. We did it. I think we did a great job. I don't think there's another reason to make this again. So it almost makes me wonder, like, maybe it was a Warner Brothers thing. I don't think it was
That's
a
what I
Lana
think.
thing. And one was able to
I
get
don't
out of it. And they're like, well, someone's got to make this movie. Lana, just like looking, and it's like, damn it.
Yeah,
You
I
caught me.
wouldn't be surprised if no one was bullied into making the movie. Somebody was just like, I really want to make another Matrix movie for some reason.
Right.
Like I could see
Yeah.
it. I could see it going either way, honestly.
Yeah, the cash grab makes sense.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, nostalgia is
Oh,
huge,
yeah.
especially right now, especially during the pandemic.
Keanu Reeves and cash grab. That's all you need.
Right. So they would have thought it was all green lights no matter what. It's unfortunate that
Yeah.
they managed to fumble the bag so poorly.
And it is a thing that could be a franchise. Like if you built it correctly, you could have had another trilogy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have had, you could have done great things with it. But
Honestly,
if you just do
I want them
lazy
to take
money
another
cash
pun
grab,
at it. Who cares? Just do
Yeah.
it. Make
Why
another
not?
one. Who gives a shit?
Pretend this one doesn't exist though. But then take another pun at it. And just do the Star Wars thing. Just make a completely different characters. Throw in a few Niobes, old ass people. Just put them in there, but then make them old as shit. Do it, a Legend of Korra kind of thing where it's like, oh, I know that's Katara, but she ain't about to do
Right,
shit.
yeah.
I know that's
a new the one.
yeah, I
A
don't know
new
anything.
one that's not Neo
Make
or
it
Trinity.
Carrie Ann Moss. Just make it Trinity. Fuck it.
I
she's
could be
she's
down
still
with
yeah.
it if it's Trinity.
Yeah.
If it's a brand new
Mhm.
one, I don't know. Like I hear what you're
Listen.
saying, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You just
If
have to
it
have
were
two
Bugs,
nostalgia pieces.
I'd
where
probably
it's like
be
some
okay
random.
with it. I don't know.
Yeah, if it was Bugs Bunny, don't make it Bugs Bunny. Don't make her name Bugs Bunny.
It's too late.
Mhm.
That's
It's
so
too late.
disrespectful. But yeah, it'd be
Ugh.
super easy. Star Wars did really well because even though it was a completely new story, it was something new. It still had enough of that in it to be like, oh, that's Luke Skywalker. You know what I mean? So you still get the nostalgia feeling without having to
Right.
do this weird retcon shit that they had to do with the movie
You're not wrong.
that they ruined. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna cash grab right. Like once again, we're feeding you ideas and you're not using them. And I deserve a paycheck. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, guys. So I don't know how much more I can talk about this bad movie, but in the spirit of being a great podcast that gives other studios great ideas, how would you guys fix this movie and or make the sequels a better version of themselves?
Ooh,
Devin, you go first.
I need some time to. Okay, first step one, don't make it. Step one, think about doing this, and then just don't. Maybe don't.
Just think about it really hard, and then just rewatch 1 through 3.
Yep.
Yeah,
Call it a day.
Have the thought and then erase it.
maybe something similar to what you were spitballing, like a while ago, Alex. Like some like a time travel kind of thing where Neo actually has to like set himself up to be the one or something, or like maybe he sets up Morpheus or something like that from the shadows. I would like to see like more of like how the world was healed, and like I don't know. I would have had Neo like full power the whole time, and like do some stuff in the Matrix, some cool action sequences, but. Who knows? It's a tough question.
I would have done more or less what I was saying several months ago. A real ass Matrix, not a program Matrix. You can recast him if Lawrence Fishburne doesn't want to do it, whatever. But a real human Morpheus. It's like his origin story. We see him meeting the Oracle for the first time, him getting out of the Matrix, chasing the rabbit, and being like, I need to find the one. Like, I'm this person, but I can't save everybody. I need to find the one that's going to be able to save everybody, to be like as enlightened as I am. And then he does that. It's the Neo that we all know and love, who's trapped making video games. And then they all come out together, and right off the bat, 2/3 of the way in or 1/2 of the way in, Neo's back to full power. He can fly. He can do everything he needs. He meets up with Trinity. They high five, and it's a fucking explosion.
It's a fucking explosion.
I mean, funny enough, like this was like rumored a couple years ago. Before this was Warner Brothers was gonna do a young Morpheus movie with Michael B. Jordan in the role.
Wow.
And then I think I think that got scrapped because this all started to happen. I don't know what the
Interesting.
how or what, but apparently
Interesting.
that was gonna happen. if I were to do it, you have to go about it one of two ways. Was either go full satire with it. Don't do this half-ass satire
okay,
shit
I'm
you're
down with
doing
that.
with it. Like, go full ass with it. I fully acknowledge it. Or do something similar to what you did with this, because I think they're interesting concepts, but throw away all the crap, all the video game meta shit. Throw that out and just focus on the advancement of the machine world, and then Neo and Trinity as the ones. Focus on those two concepts. Make the action better.
Oh yeah.
Just like simplify the story, goddammit. Stop trying to. I get it. You're the Matrix. You have to be confusing as fuck. But it's like, no, just simplify it and just make a good movie.
100%. For me, what I would do with it is one. We talked about the machine world and everything about that. Super interesting. Io, Zion, how Zion got destroyed, how Io exists. Why do we only see 2 buildings of that fucking place, even though we were there? And they talked about how many advancements we made. They're like, see all these advancements we made. And they didn't show any advancements. They showed
got
strawberries.
bro.
Yeah, and then they dipped.
Yeah.
And that was the last time we
Blueberries
saw.
coming
Last time we saw that world again, then we kept seeing that same fucking cliff that Niobe was hanging off of, 18 different scenes, and then that was it. So maybe focus a little bit more, because Revolutions, that was what it was called, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
The third one,
was
focused
all
very
over
hard
that
on the
place.
machine world. Yeah, and they were all over that place. And it wasn't as interesting only because that movie's convoluted as fuck. But show me more of that, because it could be interesting, and they had something interesting there that they didn't use.
Yeah, I'm
they
down
spent
for
way
that.
too much time, hanging out with Homeboy in the Matrix, just showing random scenes of random nice looking places. Cool, whatever. Fuck it. I don't care about your nice apartment.
Yeah.
Second, if I'm not going to do that and focus more on that outside world and more about how they're rebuilding and what's happened post, after death of Jesus, like, interesting fact, then just make it a fucking video game again. Just go ahead and take another stab at that.
They're in year 60 AD right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is. It's basically what happened after the death of Neo. This is, they said, when the guy was like, oh, I'm a Neo historian. And it's like, oh, that's funny. Maybe we should talk more about that. Never again.
Yeah.
I don't even think he had another line after that. And it's like, that'd be really interesting to like go into like a church of Neo or something. You just see like some weird depiction of Neo that's not Neo, but what people thought he looked like or something like that.
Right.
Stuff like that could be so interesting to explore.
He's hanging on a cross and he's always white all the time.
Yeah, right. But instead they had 3 people say, hey man, huge fan. And he just dips.
Right.
And that's the end of it.
Like a fan. Like, no, this guy would be treated like a messiah.
He is the
Like,
Messiah.
I mean, he basically was
Yeah.
in the originals.
And that'd be really
But
cool.
it's okay, guys, because they got that little BB-8 robot next to them, who's their little buddy,
Right.
Because Star Wars had a
Or
friendly
like
robot.
those robots that flew around that was like the thing where you put your face in or your hand in that, like, you know what I'm talking about? Like the hand,
Yeah.
you like the thing, I don't know.
Yeah.
It like moves your, like, I can't remember what it's called, but that's what
imagine
those people look like.
being Christian your whole life, because most of these people weren't even alive when Neo did Neo things. It's been 60 years. And then you see Jesus in real life. And then
You met Jesus.
yeah, wouldn't that be wild? Wouldn't that be the talk of the fucking town? Instead, we have 2 old black ladies go, I know who you are, sugar. And then that was it. And I'm like,
Hey, big fan.
You did good, kid.
But I guess, to be fair, they did establish that Niobe was like, Morpheus was that zealot. We have grown a group of people that are like, yeah, you're a person who's important, but fuck you, we got shit to deal with.
They all became
so
Jewish
You're
instead.
not that special.
They picked Judaism. Gotcha.
Put his ass in
Right,
jail.
right.
Wait, Alex, I got a better one for you. Okay?
Let's go.
I just thought of a better one. So you know how they got into like how the machines were in Civil War? So maybe there were good machines that allied with the humans, and then they had to use Neo to go into the Matrix to free the rest of the humans. And then in the Matrix, the bad machines like have all these new ways of like trying to kill the one, right? So they have like stuff that flies, or maybe they have like
Zombies.
really good kung fu masters.
Zombies.
Yeah, like maybe they do other stuff, but he can still fly around the whole time. He still has all of his powers,
Yeah.
and like the action would be awesome. And it's like more on that the machine Civil War, so you get a little bit of both. that'd be a
I
cool
would
movie.
love to see
Yeah.
more Machine Civil War. That sounds cool as hell.
Yeah. We got
that.
one scene of Jada Pinkett Smith looking up for 3 seconds?
Right,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
That's about where that ended.
Final last notes I just had real quick. I like that Trinity beats the shit out of her own family as soon as they turn into zombies. I thought that was funny.
Well,
Fuck them
the
kids.
husband. She beats up the husband.
Does she not hit her kids? Okay. all
No,
right.
you can't beat kids. Oscar,
They're
what are you
robots.
They were robots. That's fine.
doing? Golly.
that was a tough thing because like using kids and like making her have a whole fake family, like that is a tough thing to turn your back on.
Yeah.
Even if you are questioning reality, like so that was props to Trinity for waking
Yeah.
up.
Fuck them kids.
That Neil Patrick Harris. Neil Patrick Harris is the ultimate gaslighter. I wrote down. And then was that was the dude who's the CEO of Epic, right? The one who talks about, I think kids we got swatted, a 14-year-old pissed about an update when they're trying to be meta about games again right before Neo meets Morpheus in the bathroom. I'm pretty sure one of those dudes was like the CEO of Epic Games in Fortnite or some shit.
You're probably right
Oh
with the
my
Unreal
God.
Engine and all that kind of
That's funny.
shit.
In real life?
Yeah, in real
Yeah.
life. I think he's the one. He has that line where he's talking about, like, they're like, what's going on? He's like, there's probably some 14-year-old swatted us or got pissed about an update. Real meta shit, whatever.
That's
I
funny.
hate that.
And then I wanted to talk about the Morpheus costume hour, because goddamn, his outfits are something else in this
he was
movie.
really feeling himself.
Loud.
He pulled full jive turkey on every single outfit he chose.
got like
Man
a-
cake out looking like fucking Shaft.
He got like
He
a
was
full blue suit
dancing around.
and a full orange suit, and then he's got that red dojo.
So
This Morpheus is so like
goofy.
loosey goosey in his dialogue, and he's
Yeah.
like,
Oh my
Oh,
God.
it's so
he
funny.
reminded me of what was it, Zahn in Loki? Spoilers, the guy that comes in the very end of Loki.
Oh yeah, very timey-wimey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very nothing matters. What's up, guys?
He's
Right.
like, hey, I'm the
Hanging
cool ass
out.
program. I'm a program and a human. What's up? Oh, yeah.
He literally made fun of like how cool Morpheus was in the first one. He's like, "Hello,
Yeah.
Neo." Haha, that's
as
so funny.
he's like,
It's what?
walking out of a
Give me
toilet.
That's what I want in this movie.
He was both. He was
I want
both my
that.
favorite
Not
character
this guy making
and
fun of
my
it.
worst, like my least favorite character.
Yeah.
Like he made no sense at all. But the actor was pretty
Ugh.
cool. Like I feel like we
The
could
actor
hang out.
did a great job,
I agree.
but Lord, that character was so badly written.
Yeah. Oh man, we could talk about this movie forever. It's I'm not mad I watched it because I was just too curious, but I'm glad.
a little mad I watched
like I
it.
told you guys after I saw it, I'm glad I didn't pay money to go see it at the theaters.
Yeah.
Good old HBO Max.
Wait, can I want to mention? There's one last thing I want to mention. The end like climax when they're meeting in the coffee shop was one of the goofiest moments of this movie to me. Like, you don't like establish a perimeter with like all these FBI agents you have. You literally just stack them in like it's a nightclub. Like you exceed the maximum capacity of this coffee
like
shop by
sausages.
about 500 people.
COVID, actually. Excuse me, COVID.
Yeah. No, but like they're just standing there like shoulder to shoulder, and then the human crew for some reason goes in there and just goes up to the bar and stands shoulder to shoulder with the FBI agents. And then when they all start fighting, they basically just like shuffling around, like shoulder, like you're trying to get a drink at a nightclub,
Right.
you know, at a crowded place. Like it's fucking, that was so damn goofy. Like, and they didn't have none of those guys had guns.
Yeah,
Like,
Neo was taking all the bullets. Remember, he had that. He was
Yeah,
using
He stopped all the
But like
bullets.
seeing that one like human crew member with like the big round glasses, I think he was like a foot taller than everybody else around him. He just like awkwardly just stands in there like, yeah, we're the human crew. We look so cool. It's like you're surrounded by like 20 FBI agents for no reason at all. Like
yeah.
I don't know. That was so goofy how they set that up.
Ugh.
to
They
me.
didn't even fight. They just kind of push each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if the action was
yeah.
better, this would have been
Literally,
It was a
so much
mosh
better.
pit.
It was like a scuffle. It wasn't a fight. It was like a little scuffle, a little brawl,
Yeah.
a bar brawl.
I mean, those are most of my notes. Does everyone have all of their notes settled? Do they feel? I mean, they don't feel good about themselves, but
I don't know how I feel anymore. It's not good.
Keanu Reeves can't act. I said what I said.
Oh,
Oh,
well, you know
wow.
what? I'm not gonna lie. I questioned it a bit in this movie too, Brian.
He
Not gonna lie.
did not sell that one. I think John Wick's fine, but also it's kind of easier because he's just a brooding character that doesn't have to say but so much.
Right.
These line deliveries were suspect.
That's fair.
Wow.
I love Keanu Reeves, and I wish him only the best in life because apparently he's a really awesome dude, and I just love him being a good person. But boy, you ain't exactly hitting anymore.
Right.
You never were. I mean, he was. I guess that's the thing about being the kind of like he's always been the awkward guy in every movie that he plays, like awkward and confused. He's really good at playing that character, but he can't be awkward and confused anymore because he's supposed to be the one. So he's supposed to know a lot, and they still try to make him awkward and confused because he's been lost in time or whatever the fuck. But it's still just kind of like some of the shit he's like. Carrie Ann Moss is over there acting her ass off.
She's so good.
And he's just like, I still know kung fu, and it's like
oh
Yo,
yeah,
that was the worst.
I
shit.
forgot about
Like,
that.
I'm pretty sure my kidney exploded.
They
when I
could have
heard
used that line
Like,
so many times in the past 30 minutes, and they used it. They used it there. It's like this sequence is already over.
The timing of some of these jokes are just so awful, and I'm just like, y'all didn't really think this one through, did you? Maybe the editing got weird. I don't know.
I do wonder if this is like an editing nightmare. I do honestly wonder that.
I don't think so.
That's exactly what they wanted.
That did not feel like the problem to me.
Oh
yeah.
God.
It was also like peak awkward walking Keanu Reeves that you get to because he walks kind of weird.
He's a little bouncy.
So I feel like every time he walked around in this movie, like just him in the jeans and
when he's got them pajama pants on.
Blazer.
I like those pajama pants.
Yeah,
his little beanie.
Yeah.
I love his little beanie.
I'm down with bummy Keanu.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That's how he dresses in New York. That's how you would meet him if you saw him in New York right now.
I can't wait. I'm gonna find him.
That train sequence sucked though. But anyways.
I'm done with this. I can't go on.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Overall, yeah, sadly, it did not live up to the hype. Yeah, it's a bummer. I would still see another one. I will still stand by that. I'll see another one because I think Keanu and Carrie Ann Moss are still good.
I can't not watch it.
Yeah, you're right. They still got me.
Yeah. All right. That's about it. Judge for yourself, listeners. Shall we move on to our final segment of the week?
I guess.
Let's do it.
I guess.
Something better, please.
All right, it's time for our final segment of the week. See you, Alex, which we like to call Free for All, title pending. This is a segment, listeners, where we can kind of do whatever we want. We can recommend something. We can talk about our day. We can take a nap. We can talk about going outside. We can do whatever we want. It's free for all. Who would like to begin?
Brian, I think yours will be better than mine, so I can go quick.
So I got started last time, but that's fine. But yeah, you can go first. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to tell you guys that I finished the show on Netflix called Archive 81, and it was very good. However, it did bring up a question that I want to ask you all, because I was hoping that it would just be like a self-contained story, and apparently it was like maybe based off a podcast that was like a story, like like one of those like old timey. I mean, I think there's more podcasts out here that I just haven't heard any of them myself, but apparently the story was told via podcast. Now I don't know if that went on either, but in classic Netflix fashion, so the story is like a mystery, and you start and there's all these questions and you want to know so much, and every episode keeps you pretty hooked. And then obviously, the climax happens, you find out the answers to the mysteries, and then the story ends. But they set it up, of course, for a second season. So, but my question is, what kept me hooked on this story was that I didn't know the stuff, right? But now, I really wanted to know the what was behind the mystery. But now in the second season, everything has been, when you start off, everything's going to have been defined. Where there's no mystery anymore. Mm-hmm. So how, do you go back for that or not? And I guess maybe they can try to rebuild a mystery and, start you over again and, solve something else. But once you know how, like the magic or, whatever, like the sci-fi element, whatever it is that you found out in season 1, and that was the whole, like what brought you in. I just feel like season 2, I'm just going to be not as motivated to pick it up again. So, but it was really good. But it was just like, I just wish that they had just ended it.
Yeah.
Right.
Welcome to capitalist cash grabs. Should they have ended it? Yes. Will they? Never.
That's interesting.
And maybe they will end it. I don't know, but they just left it off. It seemed like it was kind of a cliffhanger, but they because they did kind of I don't know, you could just kind of be, it could just be gone and they maybe don't make another season, but I feel like they left it off with a lot, like a really big question at the end. And it's it just seems like they're going to do another one.
Right.
So,
yeah.
This is Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. Why they would open up for a second season, a la Squid Game.
And then cancel it.
Oh no. Yeah, I can see. I mean, what you usually do in stories like that is you just try to create a new mystery. If you said it came from a podcast or whatever, or if it came from a true story, I'm sure they're just going to start inventing more story. That's what they do with like Orange is the New Black was a book. 13 Reasons Why was a book, and that book all took place in one season. So then the next seasons they just wrote their own shit, created new problems to be solved. Because I mean that's how you make TV. You have to have a problem to solve it. So I'm sure they'll do something like that, and I'm sure it won't be as good, especially if it's coming from source material and there's no more source material. Yeah. It's usually going to be less than.
Yeah,
Like,
and maybe there is. I don't
unfortunately,
Sadly, it's
know.
very rare where a show, once it goes past the source material, stands as
right?
well as it did before.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I just think like once you solve that initial mystery, which is the thing that keeps you hooked, it's like, you know, I don't know, trying to do that again.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, and like I don't know if I'm invested enough in the characters to like go back and commit to another season.
Mm.
But like for the one season, it was very, very good. So I do highly
Nice.
recommend it. But
Nice.
just know that you might not get the satisfaction you want.
Damn it.
Well, I could go next because mine's somewhat related in the sense that mine is the exact opposite of what Devin had just went through. And I finished a show that was just a one and done. It was based off
Hey.
a book and it ended, and I don't believe they're doing any more.
Love it.
It's called Station 11. It is an HBO
Oh,
Max show. It's got Mackenzie Davis as the lead. Some people might know her. She was in like the most recent Terminator movie. She was in Blade Runner. She was in blah, 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 that show Halt and Catch Fire that I never watched on AMC. Bunch of stuff. She's really phenomenal. She's really good. That was the biggest draw for me is because I think she's really good. And also Himesh Patel is in it, and some people might know him. He's been in a couple things. He was in that movie Yesterday where he writes the Beatles songs and yada yada yada. He's also really good. It's an interesting show and it's based off a book as well. It's an apocalyptic show. It's I will say it could be a bit triggering. It is about a world that is plagued by a flu pandemic and 99.9% of the world dies. I will
Nope.
say that. To be fair, they shot the first two episodes, or maybe not the first two, but they shot two episodes before the pandemic, which is very interesting. And they had to shoot the rest months, maybe a year later with COVID. So I think that's a really interesting twist that they had to deal with. But so yeah, just be aware that if you are, I did not know what the show was going into it, and I was like, oh
Oh
boy.
no.
But yeah, so it's about that, but it also there's a lot. I don't want to spoil too much because there are some time jumps. The main two focuses are year 0 or year 1, whatever, and then year 20, and it's just it's a very interesting version of an apocalypse. It's very art focused, which you don't see a whole lot of. Um, you see Mackenzie Davis's character; she is in a troupe of actors and people called the Traveling Symphony. They're like the main people of year 20. And it's just kind of it's an interesting plot that kind of weaves in these different things and narratives. And I will say, as a whole, I really enjoyed the show. It's really good. I think it's a if you enjoy this type of thing, you should go ahead and watch it. It's only, I think, 10 episodes. Most of them are less than an hour. But my favorite characters are Himesh Patel's character, Jeevan, and his journey. Again, no spoilers. With other characters and his whole journey. I think was the thing I attached to the most. There are some flaws for me personally by the end and throughout that I'm like some lingering questions and some interesting choices made. But overall, I really enjoyed the show. And yeah, I think you should check it out if you enjoy this type of thing. But again, can be very triggering if you're not,
I saw the
if you're not ready
trailer.
for this type of thing.
I definitely want to get into that, especially
Yeah.
if it's like nice and self-contained.
Yes, absolutely. It is a one and done.
And this also
Cool.
seems like a different take on the apocalypse. I'm tired of the. I mean, it's all survival, of course, but it's really interesting that because I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast before, but it seems like when people don't tend to worry about money, like the richest of the rich people, they tend to go towards art.
Right.
It's a funny thing how that goes, and people try to be, actors and writers and visual artists. It usually happens when people don't have to worry about money. So seeing that kind of on a set and on that kind of like setting seems kind of interesting. That
Yeah, it is.
people are choosing art over capitalism all over again.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's cool. Nice. I have a rant. It's mostly about
Yes.
it's mostly about one video game, but it also kind of goes into video games in general. And I know we've talked about this a little bit on the podcast, but today it has pissed me off to the point where, and I still have the multiplayer.
Wait, let me guess real quick. Is it about Halo?
It's about Halo. So me and Devin want to talk about Halo together, specifically the campaign. and I had lost my save file about last month or so as I was at the very last boss fight, because there's this stupid glitch in there. Well, sometimes it thinks that 2 people are playing at the same time, and then because of that, the shit breaks, crashes, and then then you can no longer load your save ever again. This has happened since the game first came out.
How can it think 2 people are playing when they haven't even installed a co-op campaign yet?
And don't worry, this is where my rant is going. This is where my fucking rant is going. So I was like, no, Devin, it's fine. Like, it's cool. Like, I still want to see what the ending is like. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play through it all again. I was having a lot of fun anyway. Why not? So put my little big boy pants on. Try it again. Tell me why I get 75% through the fucking game.
Wait, you started over again?
All the way over again. That's at least 10 hours of gameplay. And I did that again. That's 20 hours of gameplay in this stupid ass campaign that is not that great. Not that great.
Oh my
and
God.
what the fuck happens?
Oh my God.
I get this random fucking stutter when I first log in, can't see Master Chief. I quit the game, come back in, and my save is back at 0.000% at the repository. The very first level.
You are cursed. Oh my God.
This is my thing, guys. This is my thing that makes me so mad about video games. Is I'm so tired of thinking that it's okay to release an unfinished video game.
Yeah.
I'm tired of fucking game companies thinking there's no solution at this time. They haven't even talked about it. They just said, be worried about using the continue button when you hit it. Instead of hitting continue, hit load game. That's all you're going to tell me on how to fix this problem? That's a glaring issue in your $60. This game costs $60. Today, campaign. It's been over a month. The first things that they're going to start changing in this game do not happen until mid-February. And that's why I was kind of going off of just like, I don't like the fact that they just sell you games that are in their early access for full price and think that's okay. But we're in this weird place right now where
maybe that's why they put it on Game Pass.
Maybe. Like, it's crazy that every company can just get away with that, and it's just seen as okay. Yeah. Every time I see someone complain about Halo specifically, someone always pops into some random comment, some Twitter feed or something. Bloop. Well, guys, the game's still in its infancy. This game has been in production for 6 years.
You can't say a game's in its infancy when it's out.
It's an out game that you paid money for. It's not a beta. It's not an early access. This game is out officially. There's no anti-cheat system in the multiplayer right now. They don't ban cheaters. In order to ban cheaters, you don't get a report button. There's no report button on there. I've been watching the same motherfucker walking around fucking with an aimbot and wall hacks for the last 3 weeks, still unbanned. Right. And I've sent videos because you have to send video proof to show if someone's cheating. They don't do the work themselves. You do all the work for them.
And they should pay you to be doing their job for them.
Am I not QA? Like, hello? I don't... It's just shit like that where it's just unacceptable. And I'm tired of people fucking simping. Like, a skin in that game costs $20. $20 to get a skin to put fucking cat ears on your goddamn Spartan. And you're telling me that I should give them a break. They're trying really hard. Suck the entire left side of my asshole. Like, are you kidding me? That's ridiculous.
I mean, me personally, this is even more hilarious because listeners, you don't know the backstory of Brian's miscues when it comes to his game saves being corrupted or lost forever. I know 2 separate occasions where Brian has lost a save. One,
Fallout and Fable.
I watched this man play the first hour of Fallout 3, die, and realized autosave didn't work and none of it saved. And then the second time would be he's at the very end of Fable. And I don't even know what happened.
I wanted to have a little bit of fun because it's Fable. A motherfucker looked at me the wrong way, and I was like, you know what? You're going to catch this dick. And then I beat the shit out of him, as you can do in Fable. But I was playing, the good guy or whatever. So I was like, let me reload. The game had autosaved.
Just ruined his
so
whole
after
game.
I'd gone on a fucking town-wide, I don't know, goddamn purge.
Everyone.
I was the epidemic. That got saved. So I had no more people in my town at the very end after I saved them from poverty and lowered taxes and helped them buy homes for themselves. I basically created socialism and then murdered my entire community afterwards after solving the issue.
It's a true tragedy.
Oh my God, my face hurts.
I never beat that game. To this day, I haven't beaten Fable 3.
Oh God, you were plagued, bro. I can't believe it.
my brother and I would with Skyrim, like he would make sure autosave was turned off, and then he would just start like doing the wabbajack all around any town in Skyrim, and just like having the guards like fighting each other, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But he always was very careful to turn autosave off first, so that he could go back.
Smart man, smart man.
So
I had to learn that the hard way.
That is rough.
I don't even think that's a game that you can like have multiple saves with. So for some reason, like I couldn't even get my shit back. Like,
that sucks. Yeah, I hate that shit.
Okay, so Halo, because I mean, when I was in the final boss fight of Halo Infinite, I got like yeeted through a wall, and like they couldn't see me, they couldn't kill me, but I was like still alive and I didn't fall off the map. So I'm just sitting there like behind a wall, and I can't do anything. So I was like, okay, like let me just reload the last save, like as this is in every single Halo game before. There's no reload there's no like go back to last checkpoint. Like every
there's no checkpoints?
You have
it's
to go.
Weird the way they auto-save.
The only option is to restart level.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the levels are long. Like they're not short levels.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, so are there checkpoints in this game or no?
All the way back. So I just seppuku'd myself off of a cliff, and then I reloaded. Actually no, I couldn't kill myself. So I had to quit the game, and then I just came back in at the checkpoint and it worked. But still,
like fine.
It's just not. This game is just not as polished as it should have been.
There's no polish.
So it's an open world game. So once you get to certain parts of the game, that's where it starts doing the autosave part. So it doesn't like autosave so much when you're just walking around. But once you get to like, oh, this is the part where we know a boss is supposed to show up, they'll save there, things like that.
Gotcha.
But some of these levels are long as shit. It'll be like a couple hours. So if you get fucked like that and you have to restart the entire level, you're restarting those couple of hours.
That was the thing. That last one, you're walking around like Forerunner. I mean, like I don't know what part was it in the final boss fight where you first saved?
The first time was in the final boss.
Okay, it was
the cutscene right before. And then the second time was after the command spire. Which was
goodness.
I think that was after all the Forerunner stuff and everything.
But you literally just don't want to do that level all over again. And especially like how many, so on your second playthrough, how many of like the bosses and like
all of them.
Like
Once again, I still did all of them. 100% of them all over again.
Did you do like the high value targets and like
all of that? I got every single file.
Wow.
I got every single fucking repository. I did all of it all over again.
So you still have yet to beat this game's
I still have yet to see the end of this fucking game. And I uninstalled it today. I said Brian, I won't. I just don't.
Oh no!
This is ridiculous.
You have to see the end of the story so that we can like go through.
We gotta talk about.
I'll watch it on YouTube. It's just unplayable on PC.
That is so sad.
It's so
dude.
bad how bad they are making ports on the PC for 343. This game has this weird packet loss issue. They had to fucking completely redo their next tournament because the last tournament they did it on PCs and no one could fucking play. So you're sitting here like, this is a tournament. This is like shown on TV and stuff. And they're like, oh, gotta restart the game again. Someone crashed. All right, gotta restart the game again. Someone crashed.
Yeah,
all right, gotta restart the game again. Someone crashed. Like, this is unacceptable. So now the next one they're playing on Xboxes because it works on Xbox. Like, trash. Game's trash.
That sucks.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't so mechanically a good game, this game would be a commercial flop. Like, and that's crazy. Because it should be, honestly. We got to stop accepting this. It sucks. Because I know the devs, I don't want to blame the devs because I know they probably had crazy crunch times and had to work 7 days a week, probably 12 hours a day, all that kind of shit. But this game was rushed and it's shown.
Yeah. That sucks, dude. I'm so sorry. That is rough.
I've had a checkered past with Halo. I didn't play Halo 5 because I didn't think it was going to be a good game, and it wasn't. And this is my first reintroduction to Halo in a long time, and this is leaving a very sour taste in my mouth.
Yikes. Yeah, I bet. Ugh.
It's not good.
Oh, man, that's rough.
It's okay. Between getting cheated, I have a lot of fun games in ranked. But, that happens every 3 or 4 games. I get to meet one dude over and over again.
Ugh. Hopefully they'll get their shit together, but I don't know.
February 15th, I guess.
Oof.
We'll check back on Halo Infinite a year from now.
A year.
Yeah, we should.
A year after launch.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's about it, listeners. Don't forget, you can email us at thefortressof@gmail.com. Fortress spelled FOUR. Feel free to send us any emails or questions or concerns or recommendations or anything about the show you'd like to let us know. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Fourtress Of and The Fourtress Of YouTube channel. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. Go into a Halo lobby and tell everyone there, even the cheaters. Tell them and then tell them to leave.
You can also follow me at facebook.com/ITZ by the way. You can also follow me on Instagram as ITZ_by the way, or you can follow me on twitch.tv/bythewayx. Devin looked at me real weird when I was saying that, so that confused me. I was like, did I misspeak? Do I know who I am?
Well, I was just trying to tell the people my thing, which is
Well, Devin,
not,
I was gonna say, because it's about to be your birthday, I think you should be allowed to say 3 letters of your Instagram.
Okay, well, I forgot the last 3.
Any 3 letters, not in this necessarily the right order.
Okay.
D,
So
B,
D and
G.
L are in there because that's my initials. And then I think J, which is my middle initial.
All right, that's it. You can't get any more.
Well,
So
yeah.
man's about to dox himself. Wait a second.
I think what I really want to do now is like actually post, like, guys, this is going to be crazy, but I actually want to post something to Instagram. Because like when I was looking at getting a mustache, I was looking at like how to like style it and stuff. And then there was a picture of Henry Cavill with the mustache. And I'm like, him and I basically look exactly like him. So I just need that side by side so that the people can respect. And then, then maybe my girlfriend will change her mind about it.
I need you to redo that scene. And what's that fucking movie where he reloads his arms?
Oh, Mission Impossible. Yeah.
I need to do Mission Impossible with fucking. Where he just
reloads his biceps. If you can do that side by side, then you're golden.
Yeah, that's what I want. If you're gonna post on Instagram, that's what I want to see.
All right, we'll look into it.
Thank you for listening, everyone. We appreciate it. Thank you, Brian, for the art. Thank you, Alex, for the music. Devin, thank you for being here.
Happy birthday.
Again, happy birthday.
Yeah.
And thank you, Jackie, for helping edit the podcast every week. Happy holidays, everyone. And put a coat on. It's cold out there.
Yeah, shorts. So how it gets worse.
All right. We'll see you all next week here in another episode of The Fourtress of...
They say.
I hate it.
They say.
I hate this movie.
They say.
I hated it.